You're listening to the Hacienda Life Podcast, the Lifestyle Edition, with your hosts, Chris, Simon, and Torill.
Prepare yourself. Okay, let's go.
Yay, here we go. We are now live. I now have the beautiful Torill and the equally beautiful Simon.
Did you say beautiful?
Yes, absolutely. So
thank you.
So it's, I only left a week ago, it feels like ages.
I know.
I
agree.
The weather over here is nice, but not as nice as out there, not as warm. And of course, Torill, you have only just landed. Probably, what was it, yesterday or today? Where you landed back from Norway?
Yesterday, I landed.
Yesterday,
yes.
I've seen the pictures.
It was 5 degrees when I left Oslo.
Oh my God! Well, I've seen the pictures, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of an update because it sounds quite exciting. The fact that you're meeting Eurovision royalty.
We did.
So
we did.
And the TV star.
Yes,
Ooh.
we did. We are kind of sub-famous. Huh?
I know. Well, so I'm expecting some good stuff on that. And Simon, how about you? How have you coped on your own for the last week?
I have been struggling, Chris, as you can well imagine. Yeah, but we had, it was the whole thing. We had the May Bank holiday, didn't we?
Yes.
Which was Thursday. So in typical Spanish fashion, everybody had Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday off as well.
Oh, really?
So it's been like another holiday.
Gosh.
Yeah.
They weren't all bank holidays, though.
It has been Simon.
No, it was just the Thursday that was a bank holiday.
Well, it was a long weekend.
But what you tag two holidays on for a 5-day holiday.
Wow. Okay. Well, it was our bank holiday on Monday, just gone.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, they're secretly,
but that wasn't
they're
the first,
secretly
was it? How
doing
does that
things.
work?
Listeners, I can see them, but I can't see what they're writing down. And I think they're exchanging secret love notes with each other, and they're just not telling me.
Well, it is our anniversary today.
You are joking.
we have. Can you believe it? It's our anniversary.
No, it's today.
No, we are. It's 4 years since I become Mrs. Parks, and I'm going to tell you about that because Simon said we have been, he has been chasing me for 10 years. I can tell you that's not a secret. However, 4 years ago we got married, and he said, yes, he said, I'm never going to marry you, just as you know, because this one I like to be married. And he said, I'm never going to marry you. My mother said, never get married, never get a tattoo, and never shit doorstep, okay?
Oh.
So he tried to live by that. I told the mother, she's a lovely, lovely lady. And she said, I can't remember that, but the shit on your doorstep is a good thing.
Okay.
That was a good advice.
Maybe I should have a beat on our podcast for that bit.
I was going to say. Can you say that? Yeah, of course you can.
Well, Simon, the
course I
audio did break
can.
up a little bit then, so I did miss the first bit that you said. So I don't know if there's any swearing in there. It kind of got caught out because your connection is.
Well, it was only SHIT.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
in which case,
the internet
hey,
wobbling.
listeners, how about that for sacrifice? They could be out partying and enjoying and celebrating their anniversary, but no, they decided to sit here and, for your pleasure, give their time for the podcast. That's dedication.
Yeah. And I must tell you that all people at the Luckies are also impressed by that, because I just told them we are going to do the podcast now on your anniversary. I don't believe you.
Well, at least you get a chance to tell the world about your 4 years and about your anniversary and everything else. So you're celebrating it. Think of celebrating it with everybody around the world, all our listeners.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. You got the right thing.
Absolutely.
There. That's what it is.
Well,
right, Simon?
Yep.
who wants to celebrate on their own?
Exactly.
That's boring.
Well, congratulations from me.
Thank you. May it
Last long.
It lasts long.
Long.
Of course it.
Okay. Well, look, let's
I love this guy. I love him.
let's dive in then.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. Simon,
yes,
give me an update. What's been going on for the last week?
Oh, well, I say it's been kind of a long weekend, so not really that much. I did say last week that I was going to try and go through the minutes of the AGM that was happened on Wednesday. Unfortunately, the minutes aren't out yet, so I can't really say much about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Well,
we can have some rumours.
There's not rumours, but I mean, basically what was said there is Hosono, which is the company that bought the 1,150 plots.
Yeah.
Because it was an AGM, because it was a villa owners meeting, then the Hosono now have the, what's the word I'd be looking for? The more than 51% of the vote.
Oh, okay.
So we've gone back into that scenario where it was Sarah with all the bank-owned properties that they had.
Yes.
They had over 50% of the vote. But now that only 1,150 plots that bought them recently now have the majority voting at the annual general meeting.
Okay.
So they will be, they're looking to replace STV, which is the maintenance company that do all the gardens and the community area, outside the community areas, with their own company, which is called 3RS.
Okay.
But by doing that, what they're looking to do is actually employ the guys that work for STV.
Okay. Does that mean it'll be?
So that's.
They'll...
Well, I think it's a little bit of a shocker, because I think that people, sort of when you start changing things, start to get worried about it.
Yeah.
And so what they're saying, that STV's done such a great job, and now we're going to go and have another company that's coming in. But basically, what they're looking to do is pick up the STV guys. So it's basically changing the name of the company that are employing them.
Well, hopefully they'll also get a bit more.
But that's pretty much like the gate as well.
And put a bit more money into it, because they do need to maybe step up a little bit, because STV have been quite good over the past in terms of keeping the maintenance. But I
think been very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I think they could just do with a bit more de-weeding from when I was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but so what the thing is that if Hosono have put all this money in to buy the plots,
yep,
then they will want to make sure that the resort is looking at its best for its potential buyers.
I would have thought so. It sounds good to me. But like you say, people
sounds a positive.
People resist
sounds
change.
Like a positive. A little bit.
It makes sense to me.
Okay. And in terms of business-wise, is anything, things going well?
Well, yeah, everything's just ticking along nicely, as expected. When we go into second quarter, it's down a little bit, but also that we don't have that much to sell. But there are new listings coming on. We're still making sales. The new stuff is still building well. They're still on top of that. It's looking good, which that comes out every Saturday on a YouTube video.
Yep.
So no, we're just bouncing along.
And what's the weather been like?
I did want to. It's been, well, I'll have to do that one because you went.
Yes. Yes. Torill was in Norway, so this is on you, I'm afraid, Simon.
So it's been a little bit like when you were here, Chris. It's sort of been sunny, it's been cold, it's been windy, it's been cloudy, it's been sunny. So you get up in the morning, you look outside and write trousers, jacket or jumper today, and then get up to the office 11 o'clock and you're sitting outside, right, off comes the jacket, off comes the jumper. So it's been like that today. I think we hit about 24, 25 today.
When does it start getting hot?
Well, now.
It can... I think it will happen from one day to another.
It basically
like
is.
Last year, it was like from one day being like this, unstable, to melting down. We can't have any clothes on our bodies, so it will be shocking hot one of these days.
Well, I think generally what happens is when it's horrible in England and Norway, it's nice here, isn't it? Yeah. The high pressure. So
well, it's quite funny because
when it's raining there, it'll be super warm here.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you know that my other half, who's also named Chris, just to keep things nice and simple,
Yes.
she's coming out a few days before me at the end of this month. And Sue, so Sue is going to pick her up from the airport. And Sue says, I think we need to have a girly party while Chris is not here. So I'm like, hang on for a second. And so she sent out some, a text to girls and saying, Funky Bear's partner's coming over. I'm like, hang on for a second. Don't be trading on Funky Bear. So if you see her around Torill, get invited, get yourself on the party. Because apparently they're going to be having a pool party. I don't know what they do while I'm not there. It's like, hang on for a second. So we need.
Yeah, well, that's how it happens.
Well, anyway, so I
that's how Simon lives.
Well, don't ruin. All I've said to him is don't ruin your reputation. Then what little reputation I've got, don't you go out there and trash it. Exactly.
Well, she is in good company. We are all wild.
Well,
so.
just
Don't you worry.
Don't get her drinking too much. She can't stop. Anyway, so it was good news to hear about Sarah. Was it Sarah? No, the lady that we interviewed.
Yes.
Sandra. That she got someone she got a new member after listening to.
She was thrilled. She was so happy.
Well,
I need to tell you a little story, Chris. We were sat last night listening to Number 7 podcast again, and we couldn't stop laughing. Sandra did I thought Sandra was really, really good.
Yeah.
It was clear. It was interesting. Somebody who's been here 20 years. But what you didn't realise is that she is a ninja salesperson. And basically, she took 30 minutes to get you to sign your partner up into the Ladies Association, mate.
Yeah.
That was ninja.
Do you know what, people? I was well mugged. I kind of went on there, and it's like, I went interviewing this lovely lady, and by the end of it, she was taking my money. I was like, hang on, how did that work? So yeah, she is a right ninja.
Yes, she definitely is.
Next time I'm seeing her, I'm not going to have any money on me. I'm going to tell her. She'll probably say contactless.
No. Yeah, do you bizum?
But no, I mean it's nice now. I mean it's I feel a little bit more at ease because my mics are all working, the kit's all working. I just It was a bit of a challenge when I was out there with the national power outage and having to use the battery backup and everything else. But you've had no more incidents, I take it, of power failures.
No, nothing. We're just struggling with the internet, I think, a bit tonight.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge because, like I say, you keep coming in and out. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll just keep talking.
Absolutely. Any other little updates that we need to be aware of?
Well, a couple of have you got anything, Darl? Oh, you haven't been here. It's all down to me today. Perfect.
I'm sitting here listening.
No, there's just that have been brought to my attention. There are a couple of new companies that are opening up on site. Now, one is he did a big Facebook post this morning, and that's called Stay in Hacienda.
I saw that. What's all that about?
And that's Thea, who's the Icelandic guy that bought Oasis Services.
Oh, yes, you introduced me to him when I was there.
Yes. Yeah. So it looks like that's official now. That's quite impressive. I like his webpage. I like the fact that he's doing everything legal. Everybody that's booking has to put in their passports or their identification numbers. There's behind the back office for his system will mean that the people that are renting the property out will actually get an idea of what tax they have to pay. So it's all
and
above board. So
is this for owners or are they renting out their own apartments?
No, this is what they will do is they will manage the properties, hold the keys, and then for the owners, they will put the owner's property onto their website.
Wow!
So it's just like a management rental company.
Okay. And is that picking up? Do you think then the rentals around there?
No, I think so. Yeah, but I think when they're also looking to stimulate their own rentals. So coming into the golfing off season, they will be bringing groups out from Iceland.
Wow. Okay.
So, here with rentals, it's picking up on out-of-season activities. The summer you should be fine to rent your property out, but, how do we rent it out outside of that? And that's golfing, that's bringing other, out-of-season type things to the resort.
We don't have enough rentals here.
Yeah, they don't have enough rentals here, but also this is the first just management and rental company. I'm not saying there are not other companies that do it here. There are.
Yeah.
But they're sort of multitasking, doing that, doing sales, doing building, blah, 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 blah. Whereas this company is actually just purely set up for renting property out. Oh.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I mean, that sounds really interesting. So, I think that's going to be good for the resort, right?
Well, I just think it shows
fantastic.
that the resort is growing.
Yeah, and for our buying clients, we don't have enough management companies to send them to.
No.
So we are really happy for this.
Okay, that's good. And
well, then, and along that, there's another little company that's been taken over, which is Let It Shine, which was just a cleaning company. Now that's been bought by a couple that live and own on the resort.
Okay.
And they're tying also in with Stay in Hacienda, and they were doing all their cleaning for them. But actually, it's good for me because I had a couple of 3 sort of odd jobs or jobs to do. That when you're casting out to get somebody to do an odd job, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
The little jobs.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about building a house. But, at home, we had a kitchen door that's been...
I've been so angry with that. I opened up the kitchen door and it's falling out. And it's like, I slam it. I was like, I can't cook in this bloody kitchen, can I?
Get the cauliflower out. That's what I do. Sorry, I'll just say, do you want me to make...
Cauliflower soup.
If you don't make it, I'm going to make the cauliflower soup, Simon. Get it fixed.
Yeah. So, it was fixed.
I can't cook in this kitchen, can I? And now it's fixed. Amazing.
Good.
Quick and dandy, and that is, I'm not joking. This has been on for 2 years. Yes, 2 years.
Just finding something to do it. But also, he's done a couple of other things. I put them directly in contact with the owners, and the owner will come in and say, you need someone to do this, or I need someone to do that. And, this is their number. They speak English. Get in
so it's
touch
like a little
with them.
handyman, is he?
Yeah, a little handyman, and they also treat mildew on the outside of buildings. So it just shows that the resort is growing and more services are growing and we're becoming more service oriented.
Brilliant, because that tells me that there is a need for it, and these companies are willing to invest, and what we need to do, I guess, as owners, is to use them, right, and keep them.
Yep.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, we need them. Absolutely.
Brilliant. And then when I was
you
there...
can't have everything in one man.
And how are Lockie's getting on? Because last time I was there, Lockie's were looking for more staff.
Yeah, they're getting some young ladies, and they are working hard. They're all working hard. It's busy.
Right.
And it will be busier. I can see that coming up soon.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good update.
Simon's pick of the props.
So, at number 3 is the plot 1007, which is a frontline golf villa with 1,200 square meters and to build 299. That's been reduced to 10995. Number 2 is the town house, which is 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, middle floor apartment in the Spanish Village, fully furnished, lift and stair access, community swimming pool, and that's coming at 129,950. And staying in number 1 is Croatia 1, an extended Altea villa, 3-bed, 2-bath, semi-detached, fully extended, marble floors furnished, and that's on a 285,000.
And do you know what I will say about that one? That is on the same. That is on the same street as me. Number 1, Croatia. Yeah. So I would say there. I would say there, everybody, get yourself that one because you're on the same street as me. You'll have me as a neighbour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's going to put £5,000 or €5,000 on the price, Simon. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we're at 285 and 280.
They can have a place in the famous street with the famous
the Funky Bear.
Absolutely, Funky Bear.
And we also got because you've been doing quite well in the charts, like rock stars in Spain and the UK. I got notification this week that we are a big riser in the Irish charts. we've got up 75 places.
Ooh, Irish.
So whatever we're doing in Ireland,
Oh, wow.
we're now in the, well, I think we're now in the top 60.
On top of
We're in the top
morning
60
tea.
in Ireland, but it has been a big jump from, we've got up 75 places.
To get in touch, leave us a WhatsApp voice note on +44 7503 061 799. That's +44 7503 061 799. Or text us on the same number.
Listeners, I was getting a little bit jealous because these two have got their own lovely new features, and I'm sitting there going, well, do you know what? I don't even have a feature, and I think I need a feature. So, everybody, I am going to introduce the new feature because, and the reason I'm doing it now is because my first point that I'm going to do is kind of related to Torills section. So we're going to do that in a minute, but I just want to get one last thing out of Simon in terms of the property side of things. And that is, and I know you do your updates on a Saturday about the new builds, but do we have a quick update on that? I mean, how many plots are still available? Have they moved on?
Okay, well, no, it's interesting because last night I said we were listening to the podcast and I get Villa Maria and Villa Martina mixed up. So, quick update on that. I think the apartments we're building 60, but the first phase, which is for sale, is 12, 4 of which are penthouses and only one of those available. So I think we're about 50% sold on the first phase of the apartments. That's very good. I say, so let me get it right. Villa Martina, phase 1, that's the 15, they're all sold. They've released second phase. I think there are 3 or 4 of those are gone. And then Villa Maria of the 26, I think there were 4 or 5 of those. And so they're still moving.
And can I just ask, are they going to stick with the same naming convention? As in, Croatia's phase 3, ABC and all that kind of stuff?
No.
Oh.
No.
Have you got an idea?
No. That sort of went out. That went out the window really with phase 4 and phase 5 because there's nothing in phase 4 that begins with a D. Actually, phase 4 and phase 5 all begin with an E. And then you come to Spanish Village, which is phase 7 or 8. Now, there's no way you can name these all the same. They're all different. Ronda, Cadaqués, Betanzos, Santillana. And then I suppose Los Olivos stuck to that because they all begin with G. But then if you go out into where the building plots are, they are already named. The actual, so you have Denmark, we have Norway, we have Japan, which is up at the back.
Nigeria.
So I think that they will keep the names, but with this stuff that they're building at the moment and putting on the market, that they sit on plots, the community plots. And they don't actually sit on the street.
I'm just going to go back on something there. You mentioned that I didn't know there's a place on the on Hacienda called Japan. My obsession about trying to get Japan listeners on there. And guess what? They've come back. The Japanese listeners went quiet on us for a couple of weeks, but they are now back. So Japan is climbing back up the charts again. So I think we need to learn, each of us, a little Japanese phrase or word for the next time that we come on, just to show our appreciation.
I can.
Oh, what does that mean?
Ni hao.
Well, I've got sayonara.
Oh.
And Japan, listen to us. We have a street for you called
Kaya Japan. So there you go. This is maybe why the Japanese are so interested in HDA. We've got a Japan section for them. Come on. So yes, I'm really excited about that.
And it's a quiet place on earth. Hacienda, no work, nothing. Everything is so quiet and relaxed.
Well, I think it's kind of zen down there. Then I think I need to maybe look at that place. And Simon, one last thing in terms of an update. You might have it, you might not, but everyone seems to be wanting to know what's happening with the Indian restaurant.
I don't know. We have no further update.
They're still
They're still working.
Because they're right. They're not far from you, are they?
Last time no, they can't be. But the last time I had a quick look in, it looked like the walls had been painted, the floors were down. I didn't quite catch how they were bar, but I think the key thing there is kitchen. You know, obviously you've got to have the kitchen in there. So
it's 2 floors and a terrace upstairs, and Remy says that they're going to have one Chinese night a week as well.
Hi guys, it's Nicole from Lockheed's. You're listening to Hacienda Life.
It's time for Chris's Weird Fact of the Week.
Fantastic.
It's my weird fact of the week. I'm only going to give one fact a week. I'm going to see how long I can keep this going. And I thought to myself, what weird fact could I come up with? And there's loads out there. But I wanted to keep it kind of relevant to maybe Spain. So did you know, here we go. It's not that weird, right? But I thought what I liked about it is it kind of ties in with you, Torill.
Oh.
And that is, did you know that Spain has the oldest restaurant in the world that's been going continuously?
Wow. No, I did not know that.
Well, there you go. And it's based in Madrid. And just to have a little bit of audience participation, do you know how long this restaurant has been open for?
No.
Go on, give it a guess. When did it first open?
That must be 100 years ago.
Not quite.
Simon?
I saw an article on that this week. I'm sure I did.
No.
I'm sure I did.
I don't believe you.
I did. I'm sure I did.
So what was it then?
I didn't read it. I looked at the pictures.
Well, I can tell you, it has been going since 1725, so 300 years.
Oh my coconut, that is amazing.
And they've still got the same chef.
Not
Can you
with
believe
me,
that?
I don't think. I don't believe that. Maybe the same recipes.
But different tablecloths, I hope.
That's fantastic.
So yes, apparently, I don't know if I can pronounce it, well, but I'll have a go.
Just about to ask you that.
So it's called the Sobrino de Botín.
Yeah, very good.
Very.
That's good.
And it's in the heart of Madrid. It's been there since 1725, and it was frequented by famous people like Ernest Hemingway.
Ooh.
And so impressed was Ernest Hemingway with it that he actually put it in his book. It's got a mention in his book called The Sun Also Rises. So if you have read that book, it will mention this said restaurant in there. So there you go. That is my weird fact of the week. And I've kind of tied it in to Spain and also Mrs. P's Wine and Dine. Wouldn't it be great if you went up there and did a review?
Don't start that.
Oh,
I'm trying to talk into doing 2 a week.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah.
So, guess what? I'm going to Madrid at the end of the month to listen to Ed Sheeran, and we are looking for a restaurant. The girls just want to have fun.
Oh.
We will
Well,
check
there you go.
that out. So
You could give a review of the world's oldest restaurant.
we are going to check that out. I'm telling you. I'll be back.
Oh, do you know what, listeners? Wouldn't that be so cool
Oh, that's
if
so
Torill
cool.
came back and actually said, "I have been to that restaurant."
Ah.
I'd love to know if the chairs creak.
I want to meet,
Anyway,
I want to meet the chef.
that's enough of my little feature, and hopefully everybody, I'm going to keep that going. So listen out for next week. I'm only doing one a week.
Well, that was a juicy one. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then
I
we
like
to
it.
start with.
I'm on it.
Anyway,
I'm on it.
let's get on to what everybody is talking about.
Mrs. P's Wine and Dine recommendations. Because us girls just want to have fun.
Oh my goodness, viva la vida buena. I told you. That's what it is.
It's what everybody listens to the podcast for, They all want to know where the restaurants are, how you're getting on, and everything else. So come on. The trouble is here, though, Torill. You've been away for a week.
Yes, but believe me, I am on it. And coming back to Spain makes me even more happy making the choice living here, because going to my fabulous country, Norway, and Oslo, which is a capital to die for, it's bloody expensive. My money would not reach. One glass of white wine, 24 euros. Thank you.
Oh, get out of here.
One glass.
Oh, my.
And it was not a big glass. It was a little glass. They called it big, but hang on a minute. That was just like a finger nutshell thing. Oh, no. I have used so much
24
money.
euros for a glass of wine.
I'm not kidding. And that was on the airport when I landed, and I said, okay, I think I go back home. And,
that's like, when I fly out from Manchester to Spain, my airline ticket isn't much more expensive than that.
Norway is unbelievable.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Yeah, we have had so much fun. My daughter came from USA. Oh God, she loves life too, like me. And my son surprised me. He almost had a heart attack. It was a surprise from the West Coast where he lives. And my sister, she was the host. And God, we are so loved up, family loved up. I can't believe it. So, and the Eurovision, the epic 40-year celebration, it was a blast. It was a blast. And I pre-ordered cava for Prosecco. It was actually at the show we were 4 girls, so my sister, my daughter, and her daughter. So I pre-ordered a bottle of cava, and that was actually Prosecco. It wasn't that bad. It was only 600 Norwegian kroners, which is like 70 euros per bottle.
What?
Had to take 2.
70 euros for a bottle of cava. I'm not being funny, but wow.
I know. It didn't last long either, did it? But it was fantastic.
I didn't ask how much was the food.
Oh, the food. Actually, Simon can confirm that. My daughter sent Simon a copy of the bill. So the food was like my daughter and I, we had yesterday, the day before, we had a Mexican pancake. That was 200 Norwegian kroners. That would be like 30 euros. And the bill was 150. So the rest was a bottle of wine.
Oh my God. What was that, like a fajita?
Yes. No, it was actually a pancake. It was Cinco de Mayo. We like to celebrate the world, so it was a Mexican fiesta, the 5th of May, right? Didn't she send me that copy of that bill, Simon?
She did.
So 80% was the drinking fee and 20% was the food. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So are your reviews this week going to be Norwegian based, or are they going to be Spanish?
No. Can't talk about the Norwegian. We can't go there. That's absolutely insane. Those prices. I can't even believe I have enough money to pay for this week. But Simon picked me up yesterday and we went to a place. I'm going to start somewhere else, because before I went, I went, it was the weekend, and we went to Simon and I, when he started chasing me, because he was chasing me really roughly for 10 years ago. So, he said, I'm not going to marry you, but I really want to have, a meal with you. So we went to a place which I knew before, back to Cabo de Palos, the fish village. So,
is this the place at the end of the strip?
There's so many restaurants there.
Beginning.
The beginning of it.
Oh, the beginning.
It's not the end,
right.
It's the beginning. So that's 25 minutes. At that point, Simon lived there, It was very exotic. We had a really romantic start, Simon and I. No, it's just hard work. I mean, hello. It's like, anyway, so we went to.
So hang on. Are you telling me the honeymoon period is now officially over?
No, I'm just teasing him a little bit, you know.
Because there is a thing. I mean, how long? Just I'm going off topic a little bit here, but how long do you think the honeymoon period actually lasts?
Oh, well, we know for facts it doesn't last more than 6 months or 1 year or something.
6 months.
But I realized.
You've done really well then.
No, we still have honeymoons, and it just come back. It's just repeating itself, and then you say, "Oh."
Well, you always look like you're having fun, you two. So I think the honeymoon period must still be going on.
God, yes, I adore that man, And when I was sitting there looking at him, look at this handsome man walking down there. Who is that? Oh, he's my husband. That was the start of our romantic thing. So the place is called. It's well known. It's on the corner, just literally by the harbor, and it's called Miramar. We love it there. We have been back and forth there, and lovely waiters. Do they have a woman at all? It's all men, isn't it? Maybe that's why I like it so much.
What kind of food is it?
Sundown. It is fish. So that's for you, Chris. That's for you, Chris. That's beautiful fish. And the best calamaris.
Chupitos.
Chupitos. I love the chupitos. We love to sit at the bar and just have tapas. We love tapas, small things. I get really quickly filled up,
Okay.
Not with drinks, but with the food. I mean.
And so the food's good. What about the atmosphere?
It is fantastic atmosphere, and you feel this freshness from the ocean, and you see the boats coming in with fishes or divers. There's a lot of divers companies there, so they dive. It's beautiful.
Any live music?
No live music. That kind of boring like that. The music is from the ocean, the waves.
Okay.
And sometimes I sing a little bit for Simon,
Okay, so did you go there just the two of you?
Yes, only the two of us.
A romantic night. Okay, are you ready? Give me a score.
Yeah. So where are we?
Hang on, let me roll the dice.
Miramar. Score is 6. It is. Keep going like this. Not much to fix. Yahoo!
You're going for that Booker Prize again, aren't you?
I'm working on it. Someday, somebody will pick me up and understand how deep I am.
I know. I can tell. I think you need to get this little black book with all these little rhymes in them.
And if you notice, if you listen to me, they are not the same. It's always a new one. I'm working hard on it, I know. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's a hidden talent. That's a hidden talent you've got there.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, number 2.
So, at the end of the strip, it's not totally at the end of the strip. It's not that far as we spoke about last time with Escuela de Peter. This is Thomas Maestre. It is a harbor where you can actually in the summer go with a boat from the other side of Mar Menor to Thomas Maestre, and you can have a meal there. And this is also a long love I've had for 25 years. It is it's called Di Mare, and it's specials for pizza and pasta, and also the waiters there as well. They've been there forever. I haven't seen them, moving, and they of course know me. And sometimes if I bring somebody like Simon who is not aware of it, they tempt him to order a little, leg of lamb. It cost you a fortune. And he said, oh yeah, lamb, that could be good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And then you complain about the bill after, and he says, oh, it was all the drinking, it was all the bottles of wine. I said, no, it was the bloody leg of lamb, darling. Anyways, they have the most fantastic pizza, and they have the most fantastic pasta. And listen carefully, Chris. They opened up like a few years ago next door a cocktail bar. So there you go for your coffee, drinks, and the cocktails. And they are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's on my list. I'm definitely going when I come out next.
Yeah, it is professional.
I just need to find it. I just need to find a driver.
Absolutely.
Yes. Simon can drive. He doesn't like cocktails, you know.
Okay, and so the food is good. Could be a bit expensive if you go for the lamb, is what you're telling us.
Yeah, stay away from that lamb. Also, we had to start alcachofas, artichokes from the fields.
Yeah.
With a beautiful truffle sauce with Parmesan on. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
It is so good. And also the view is fantastic. You're sitting there as well, looking at the boats. It's a harbor there as well.
Yeah.
Very romantic and beautiful.
That would be fun.
We got a book.
Sunset. Yeah. I don't need the book. Busy times, but they're open all day. They don't have siesta.
But it's quite a way to go. So I would recommend anybody certainly coming from HDA, I would book.
Yeah, I would book.
Because you don't want to go all that way and then find out that there's no tables.
No. But there are other options, but I would book. But you have to call and speak Spanish, though. But if you want to go, I can call for you. They don't speak Spanish. They don't speak English. They don't.
And if I mention you, will I get one of the best tables?
Yeah, but they don't remember my name. You have to call me the blonde Norwegian. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just get a picture. I just get a picture and show it and say, recommended by this lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I call, I say, hola, soy Torill. La rubia de Noruega. That means the blonde from Norway. And say,
you know what we're going to have to start doing? We're going to have to start getting, those little cards which have got the Hacienda Life thing on. I think we need to get some of those made up that says you've been reviewed by. And you can leave it on the table and just go. A bit like there used to be an advert in the UK for, come on, Simon, help me out. It was the milk tray. Was it?
Yeah. It was the all because the lady loves milk tray.
And he used to leave. Yeah, he used to leave a little calling card.
James Bond, doing all the diving off planes and then he has.
I think we need to get Torill some calling cards so she can just leave them and just go. You've been reviewed by and listen to the podcast.
No, I'm really starting to like this.
Yeah, but I think we should do it the other way around. We would like to review you.
Oh, yes.
And then maybe we get an invite back.
Yes.
Yes, because...
We'd like to review you.
Oh, yeah. Like, now I have a digression. We went to a very famous place in Oslo, a very famous hotel, very new as well. It's the king of the hotels, the owner there. And we heard the waiter saying, this girl is here. And I knew that girl because I'm following her on Instagram and such. She's a sommelier. She's running around and scoring the wine list and the wine, everything. And they were like, she's here. And
you're kidding me.
And she was there. So I said, hi, we know each other. And she said, I know we do.
Wow.
So you need that sort of reputation.
Yes.
You do.
When you walk into a restaurant, they go, she's here.
This is going to be live. This is going to be spoken about. This is going to be important. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we have a plan. We have a certain plan, and I can do that. I can tell you.
Well,
I can do that.
All I will say is local establishments, be very wary when Simon and Torill turn up.
Mm-hmm. Look out for the blonde. Look out for the blonde with the big glasses.
Yeah, they're not there just to enjoy the food, to tell you.
They are.
So come on then. Are you ready? Are you ready for a score?
Oh, I'm so ready. Oh, tasty and alive. It scores a 5.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
That's pretty good.
That was short and sharp and to the point.
Yeah, so you can remember it. Do you agree, Simon?
What, 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. It's super, but it's not like high class, but it's fantastic.
5 is quite good, though.
5's very good.
I quite like a 5. Right, okay, on to the third and final one.
Yeah. And this is from the city Murcia. So Simon picked me up at the airport. And of course, this one, Mrs. P, is always hungry or thirsty. So we stopped like in the middle of the city, and we have also lots of favorite places in Murcia city. But this is kind of cool because you can pop in and out very easily. And it's the old post office in the south of Murcia. And that's why it's called the Mercado de Correos. Correos means post office, and the Mercado is a market. So how they made it is super cool. And it's open during the day and seasonal.
Is it by the river?
No.
It goes through the center?
It's just behind the cathedral. Just close to the cathedral, right, Simon?
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very popular with young people too. So the thing is, like, I always wonder when you see people like, when, as I said, when I made my cauliflower soup, we all have to eat that cauliflower soup. We don't make special dish for somebody, And the brilliant thing here is that they have, I think it's 9 different restaurants you can choose from.
9 different kitchens.
Yeah. Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
They are all surrounded there. It's like a market, and you sit there and they have 2 different bars and an outside garden as well for evening shows and youngsters and such like that. But the thing is that you can sit down, and I fancy Italian. And Simon cannot fancy Italian. He wants like typical Spanish, or he wants like Chinese. Asian.
Chinese. Oh, I love Chinese.
So there you are. So the whole menu, it's again on
That's
this
good.
barcode thing on your phone. So you can read through. There's so many options. But the fine thing is that you can have that. You can have different things from different kind of.
It's individual kitchens.
Individual kitchens. So, but
That sounds good.
but you don't need to go to these places. You just talk to the waiter, so it's coming to you. I find that really cool.
And quality of the food was good?
Oh, the food is, it's about what you choose though. So you can choose wrong things and you don't like it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have never
atmosphere was good?
It's super good. It's super good.
And price range?
Price range, it's like 40 euros, I would say, for 2. Why are you looking at me like that?
I would say for 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you bring,
it depends what you eat.
If you bring me like the expensive glasses of Albarino wine, it's maybe a little bit more. But you can drink what?
But it's great value and it's good fun because, as I say, the menu's huge because it's coming from 9 different kitchens.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
However, it can be busy there and you can wait in line. It's hard to book. We never managed to book. We had tried to book tables, and once we bought the little junior, he was a little bit naughty, so he ordered a lot of oysters. Cost us fortune. Huh?
Wow.
So you have to control your babies.
Here we go.
Delicious to the core. It gets you a 4.
Oh, I like that. Hey, very good.
But it's
Need
not
a round of applause. Round of applause for that. Excellent. Right. Well, unless you've got anything else to say, you can now go off and enjoy your anniversary pie at the at Fairways.
It would be a lovely evening.
I think we'll get a candle on Matt's birthday.
I got flowers. I got beautiful kava. He's the dream man. He's the love of my life, so no worries about that. I can't wait to see you again. We will come back with more news for you next week.
Yes. So we're still on for next week.
Absolutely. We are on.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you again for seeing it. Speak to you soon.
Good to
See
see
ya.
you. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
To get in touch, leave us a WhatsApp voice note on +44 7503 061 799. That's +44 7503 061 799. Or text us on the same number.
Right, listeners, here we go. We have another new guest to the show. It's Scott. Oh, Scott or Scotty?
Scotty.
Scotty. Okay. Scotty is new to HDA.
Yep.
Been here
2 months.
2 months. And what an interesting guy. I've already met Scotty now. This is the second time I've met Scotty. We were out for dinner on Friday night, and I could not believe the stories he was telling me. I thought traveled the world and had tried lots of different things, but boy, Scotty, it takes it to another level.
I'm not afraid to do things. That's all.
And that's great.
Once,
And exactly, and that is what I love about people with that attitude, right? Because you sit there and just do it. I mean, there are so many people in this world who, sometimes don't even venture out of their neighborhood, right?
Why?
Yeah. I mean, there is a saying, and you're American, right?
Well,
That you might guess.
American, sort of like Prince formerly.
Yeah, exactly. But isn't there a stat that says something ridiculous like something like only 30% of Americans actually have a passport?
I think that's probably true. Maybe even less.
So a lot of Americans, you sometimes sit there and think, why don't they get out and venture? But honestly, guys, when we dig into Scotty's life and what he's been doing, he's just been showing me some stuff on his phone. Honestly, it's unbelievable. But so Scotty, if you don't mind, give us a bit of an intro, where you are, where you've come from, and what you've done. All right, if you can, in a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into sort of just asking a few more specific questions.
Sure. I grew up in Los Angeles, but I never liked Los Angeles, so I was always heading off to the wilderness, whether it was the mountains behind or the beaches or whatever. And I got up to age 20. I'm going to do the fast version. I got up to age 20, and I just didn't like LA. It just wasn't my place. And so my aunt was living in Juneau, Alaska. And she came down on a business trip and said, hey, would you like to move up? Things are happening up there. It was right when the oil started flowing in the pipelines, circa 1980, just to give you a pin in the map, so to speak. And so I went up there, and overnight, I went from being an ordinary guy with probably going to have a name on my shirt kind of guy, to the world exploded for me. It's just, I went to uni in 1983. Started off as a civil engineer, but
hang on, can I just go back a sec?
Oh,
right, because when you said you didn't really like growing up in LA, now to the outside world, everyone's sitting there going, LA, glitz, glamour, it's Hollywood, it's all that kind of stuff, the superstars.
Yeah.
Why on earth did you not like? I mean, I've been to LA, right, and I must admit I didn't think LA was that great, but I was only there for a few days. Yeah. So why growing up in LA? What didn't you like?
So for those of you out there listening today who are maybe, older than 30, let's say, or do like their YouTube searches, there was a TV show called Grizzly Adams.
Okay, yeah.
And it was about Dan Haggerty was the star, and he had a big bear named Bart. The real bear's name was Bart. He's famous TV and movie bear. But anyway, it was about the two of them out in the wilderness, and that's why the pictures I showed you had the big beard and the long hair, because that's Grizzly Adams,
Yeah.
And I thought, why not?
Okay.
So I just said, let's go. So I sold off everything I had accumulated at that point to get up to Juneau, Alaska, and then 2.5 years later went up to Fairbanks to go to university.
Wow.
That's where I learned how to fly, so that was kind of fun. Right up near the Arctic Circle.
Right, so hang on. Let me just check this out. I might do this a lot through this interview. So you're now in your mid-20s, right? You've left LA, you're in Alaska, you're now going to Fairbanks, and now you're taking up flying.
At 23, yeah. I was
Wow.
23, and I got my license in 6 months.
Okay.
And
so was that more recreational kind of flying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, I was thinking about going commercial, but at that time I was in the civil engineering school, but at that time too, because of that, I didn't have a lot of free time to go beyond private pilot up to instrument and then ATP and all that stuff. Looking back, I almost wish I would have.
Right.
You know, that's one of the few things, because I was on a roll, man. I was really enjoying flying.
Yeah.
A pretty good pilot. You know?
But what were you doing to earn money to be able to fly?
Work.
As what?
Jobs. Oh shit, everything. Oh, I can't say that. Everything. You know, I was managing a video store, working in a pizza place, working at the university. I think I showed you the photos of on the radio. That was in Juneau. When I was in Fairbanks, I was on KSUA, which is the university station. That was a paid station.
So guys, how nervous do you think I am? Right, a budding little kind of guy trying to put together a little podcast, and I've got a guy who used to be a DJ, a proper DJ.
Chris is doing just fine. He's doing good. I listened to a little bit of one of his other podcasts. And you do okay.
Well, thank you for that. So I'm still learning. I guess we're always learning. So you've been a DJ. How long are you doing that for?
About a year and a half. Combined, probably 2 years.
And how did you end up being a DJ?
Okay, so good question. So I left LA.
Right.
And I got up to Juneau. And like I said, everything just was like the Midas touch. No matter what I touched, turned to gold.
Yeah.
I was up there for the second day I was up there. I got a job at the Bernoff Hotel.
Right.
Back in LA, I was managing a travel lodge. I was the resident manager.
Okay.
At 19 years old. And so when I got up a week too later, I was already employed at Bernoff. And I think it was the second day I was there. My auntie took me down to the local little supermarket right in downtown Juneau there. And this Native American guy comes walking out. He's a Tlingit Indian. And his name was Cy Peck. My aunt was really good friends with him. And she introduced me to Cy. And he asked me, you know, like, so what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. But I said, one thing coming from LA, I've always wanted to be on the radio.
Okay.
And he said to me, well, the funny thing is, I'm in charge of the radio station.
Wow.
And he goes, it just so happens I need a DJ on a Saturday morning shows. And if you want to pop down this coming Saturday, we'll just get on the air together and I'll see how you go.
So this is like one of those revolving door moment type things, right?
It was, man. And it was amazing because, you know, here I am a week later, I'm already on the radio. And
you had no experience?
Zero. He taught me everything. Taught me how to, back then he used carts. Which were like 8-track tapes.
Hang on, but did you do like any rehearsals or did you stray in it?
Get on and go.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you one of my favorite phrases. I used to say this to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know how most people, when they go swimming, they take their big toe and they tap in the water and just kind of suss it out a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just jump in the pool and pray to God there's water. I'm serious. That's how I operate.
Wow.
I was, And so with the radio, that's exactly how it got started, you know. And Shai was brilliant. He gave me a show and he said, you can name it. I called it Progressive Perspectives on a Rock.
Wow.
And so it was on every Saturday morning, 3 hours.
And the genre that you played then, would it be mainly that progressive rock?
100%. That was the idea.
Like Yes, Genesis.
Things you wouldn't normally hear.
Yeah.
Gentle Giant, Camel, all these.
Yeah, but every track would have been about 6 minutes long, wouldn't it?
But it was public radio, so it was not a commercial radio station.
Wow.
No big deal.
Gosh.
And then when I got up to Fairbanks, it was about a year and a half into my studies. They were looking for a radio DJ at KSUA, which was a commercial, what they call AOR. I don't know if you know that term.
Yeah.
Album-oriented
rock. Yeah.
So it was an AOR station, and you know, I just jumped in and started doing AOR, man. And,
wow.
Back then, we still spun vinyl. You know, it was real vinyl. In fact, one of the things that was probably the coolest, I'm guessing nobody in this show is going to know this, but there used to be a really avant-garde show every Saturday called the Dr. Demento Show. Do you know of Dr. Demento?
No.
This guy, his whole thing was to play the weirdest music you could find.
Wow.
And, but it was on Radio 1, so it was nationally syndicated.
Yeah.
I didn't know how this happened. I mean, as far as up until I was on KSUA, but it was on my show. So I had to host the Dr. Demento show.
Right.
And it came on a disc, on a record.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Every week they sent us a record. And they pressed them and sent them out all over the United States,
Wow.
And so if you remember vinyl, when it gets to the end of the song, there's a little thing and it moves it to the next song. Well, these have little fences on the vinyl. So at the end of the segment, then I would go to commercial, do a couple back announcements. And now we're getting back into the Dr. Demento show.
Wow. Wow.
But it was on a record.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
It's,
so that was my radio days.
And so you have a love for music, I assume, right?
100%.
Okay. Listeners, in this next section, I talk about a hero and legend. That is Mike Peters of The Alarm. He was the lead singer. And he lived not far from me up in my place in North Wales. Now, when we recorded this, it was Monday, the 28th of April. Unfortunately, the following day, on the Tuesday, Mike passed away. He was fighting a long battle of cancer, and I thought about maybe not putting this section out, but out of the respect I have and the love I have for Mike, I hope you enjoy this next bit. I wanted to just leave it in there. So it was a sad time after we recorded this, but we didn't know it at the time. I hope you enjoy it. Because it's funny how music brings people together.
It is.
And I remember, so as a kid, for example, there was a band where I used to live, and it was in North Wales, right? So North Wales is a little kind of, nothing happens. It's all tourists and that's about it, right? And then I remember this would have been back in 1983, I was only 15 at the time, sitting there, and on Top of the Pops, which was a big music show that we have over here every Thursday night, there was this band that had just come off from supporting U2 in America. Okay. And they were told to come over because they were going to be on Top of the Pops, and they were from my village. Wow. Right? This is a band called The Alarm. Right?
Okay.
And so The Alarm and a guy called Mike Peters, I call him my neighbor. He kind of lives, and they had this massive song called 68 Guns back in the UK, back in the early 80s. And I'm telling this story when I was over in Atlanta, right? So I'm in Atlanta about 20 years ago, and I was the only Brit there, and I'm talking to the group of Americans, and they were asking me about, what do you do? But I'm not going to put the accent on. And I said, oh, well, do you know what? What sort of music do you like? I said, I like this band called The Alarm. And this guy goes, Mike Peters and The Alarm? And I went, yeah.
So he knew it.
And he goes, it's my brother's favorite. And he lived in California. Okay. It's his brother's favorite band. I'm like, you are kidding me. From my little tiny village, in North Wales, right? Thinking that nothing goes on. There's a guy in California, and he's going, yeah, you're one of my favorite bands. Blah, blah, blah. So it's great that music, like you say, like the podcast, just spreads around the world, right? So you'll be amazed. And you're a musician yourself, right?
Yeah, I play bass guitar.
Okay.
I've been playing since about almost 30 years now.
Wow. Been in many bands?
4.
Wow.
Yeah, 4. And then probably the best one was called DNA. But what was funny was our lead singer guitarist, his name was Drew.
Okay.
And so we actually said that DNA stood for Drew's Nasty Attitude. and there's the logo there. I designed this thing.
Oh, wow. He's just showing me a tattoo he's now put on. It looks like a DNA.
Yeah, it's the helix.
Yeah.
And then the cross pieces are musical notes.
Oh, cool.
And
do you have anything out in the ether that we can go listen to on YouTube or?
Oh, you could find it. You might be able to find it if you looked up on YouTube, because I do have like some YouTube channels still. They're not very active at the moment, but if you look up Scott Goodkin and
that's Goodkin.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I mean, we could pretty much find it now.
Right.
2 minutes if you just hunt around a bit. You'll see videos from DNA up on stage.
Cool.
We used to travel all around New South Wales. In fact, it was funny.
Hey, whoa, hang on for a second, right? You're jumping ahead. So we haven't even left America yet. we're still just you. So
we're still in Alaska.
Yeah. So you're a DJ in the early 80s, right?
Yes.
So before you shoot ahead and tell us all about the time, so from there, right? Because you ended up in Australia.
Yeah.
So how did you go from being a DJ in Alaska to ending up in Australia?
Being a DJ in Australia.
All right, okay.
There too. Like I let you hear the beginning of one of the shows.
Yeah. Listeners, I'm just conscious at how long this episode is this week, and there's so much more that I want you to hear from Scotty. So I've decided that rather than just cut him off short, we're going to do a part 2 of this interview in next week's episode. So we are just about to find out how he gets himself from the US over to Australia, and to hear the rest of his story. Please listen in next week for part 2 of Scotty's interview.
And that's it for this week's episode. Add us to your podcatcher or on iTunes now so that you can make sure you never miss out on another second of our wonderful podcast. We would hate for you to miss out. Have a great week, everyone. To get in touch, leave us a WhatsApp voice note on +44 7503 061 799. That's +44 7503 061 799. Or text us on the same number.
Brought to you by Funky Bear Productions. Follow us on our socials @Funky Bear Productions.